So please give a warm welcome to Rajesh.
Thank you very much, John. So we're going to talk about some very interesting new ideas in email. How do we make email even cooler? And I'll show you a few ideas in action a little bit later. So to start off, about... Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah. So about myself, I'm a serial tech entrepreneur based in Mumbai, India. I set up my first company in 1995, which were India's first internet portals. So when we talk of multiples on ARR, I sold that company in 99 at 166 times my revenue. That was about $100 million, the deal size, one of the largest deals in Asia at that time. And then I set up Netcore. Netcore is 25 years old. And for the first 10 years, we didn't grow much. And then I decided I was the problem, so I got a new CEO. And that's kickstarted our growth. We are now at close to 100 million ARR. We just bought a company, Unboxed. Some of you all know them. They're into on-site search for 100 million a month ago. So I'm going to talk to you more, of course, a little bit about Netcore and then the email ideas. So what's common to both of these companies is that they are both what I call proficons. You all know unicorns. So proficons are private, profitable, and essentially bootstrapped. So we've never raised venture capital in our life. I didn't do that in my first company either. I do a lot of writing. I'll show that to you at the end on my blog, so myname.com. Lots of interesting ideas and marketing. I have a current series going on Email 2.0. There's two new posts from me every day. So let's get started with Netcore. So we've got a full stack. Email is, of course, one of the core things that we do, which we've been doing for nearly 15 years. But from a CDP, analytics, customer engagement, and the entire layer above that, personalization, product experience search with the omni-channel capabilities, a very powerful AI engine, connections to API into multiple other products to basically be able to get data in and out. And the core idea is really that it gives a full a unified view of the customer. And while we are new to the US, we are very, very big in India and APAC. So just to give you a sense of the scale, we, of course, work with many of the big brands globally. We send out 18 billion emails per month. Most of our competitors have been acquired by CPaaS companies, so probably we're one of the largest ones now left standing in the email space. We do all the channels, push notifications, SMS, all on a single channel, so it's a great way to optimize journeys. We are in multiple countries, 18 countries, 5,000 plus customers, and a lot of events in terms of just handling capabilities. And we have a great team in the US. You all know Nick Einstein. There is Nick Parmar. He leads sales. And we have Matt Vernout, who heads our deliverability. So it's a great leadership team that we are working to build in the US. And we got fantastic industry recognition. So we were named in the Forrester Email Service Providers quadrant recently, Gartner's Customer Choice G2, and a very nice comment from Forrester, essentially on our leadership on the AI side. We call our AI engine Raman. It's named after one of the great Indian scientists. So the demand for email innovation is coming from both brands and customers. And I think there's very little innovation happening. And that's what we are working to change as we go forward. So from the brand side, it's basically, how do I solve the problem of attention recession? When we have 20% open rates, it means 80% people are ignoring our messages. How do we change that? How do we collect more zero-party data? We've discussed this in the last couple of days. That's going to be a big differentiator. How do you build a hotline to customers so that your messages are not ignored? How do you drive engagement? And can a services team help extend your team to be able to do much more? So how do you bring in the performance element on the email side, what has driven the growth on the ad tech side? And I think many of these ideas can dramatically transform the future of email, make it a much larger business, make it a much more powerful business than it is today. And customers, of course, more relevant content. What's really changing is two-way interactions. Now, all the single one-way channels, whether it was SMS, email, etc., all are becoming two-way now, and especially email. And I'll show you that later. How do you set preferences, mobile-friendly content, and so on? And that's really the foundation for what we are calling Email 2.0. That how do you make opening and engaging with emails a habit in the lives of people? So it's not just about sending. It's about getting the messages seen. It's not about just having a delete mindset on the customer side, but how do you delight them? Converting the hope that we as marketers have in terms of hoping that the message will get seen to creating a hotline where there's no message ignored. From just occasional messages at any time, where sometimes the messages feel like spam, to becoming a daily utility in the lives of our customers. So daily at the same time, appointment viewing. Moving from just opens and clicks to measuring streaks and stickiness, and we'll talk about that. Non-interactive to interactive, non-incentivized to gamified. So we'll cover all of these ideas. That's what we call Email 2.0, the habit revolutions, or the next upgrade to email. So it's about a set of exciting innovations that we'll discuss today, and there are 5 of them. So first is hooked score. How do you measure better? AMP for interactive emails, EMS for informative emails, atomic rewards for incentivized emails, gamified emails, and progency to essentially help you do much more than today probably the internal teams are capable of doing. So hooked score is what we are proposing is a new metric to essentially measure habit creation. So measure stickiness, streaks, engagement intensity, and it goes beyond opens and clicks. So all the in-mail actions, how do you measure that? How do you measure it at an individual level rather than just at the aggregate numbers that we see? One simple way to do it is you assign points to all actions and look at a 30-day exponential moving average, which basically gives you higher weightage for recency. How do you then devise messaging strategies based on engagement intensity? So if you take the hooked score and then create the quartiles, you can send different messages. This idea of streaks, I think, is very important, because if someone's opened 3 of your messages, then the 4th message can be very high value, because you know the likelihood of the 4th message being opened is going to be very high. So moving away from opens and clicks to something much more better in terms of measuring intensity. AMP, and we'll see a lot of this going forward in a few minutes. They basically think of it as interactive email, apps, and microsites inside of the emails. So amazing interactivity which can be driven. For different brands, it'll be a different percentage of your customers, but probably 40, 50, 60% may be able to view these mails, because it's not supported in the Apple inbox. It's supported on Gmail, supported on Yahoo. But it's very, very powerful. So for the users who actually engage, and I'll show you I'll talk about some of the case studies later that we've got, the numbers are staggering in terms of improvements in performance. So whether it is forms, NPS ratings, scheduling appointments, collecting zero-party data, all of this can be done right inside of the email without having to click through anywhere at all. And especially for e-com companies, I think there's some great opportunity out there. So think of just maybe taking over the footer and doing a lot more besides just the body. And we'll run through that a little bit later. The next idea is EMS, micro-content plus stories. So the idea is that how do you get mental availability for your brand? In the physical world, there's the concept of physical availability. Like Coke, you see it in multiple places. How do you bring in the mental availability? And that's really the idea of EMS. So short emails, informative, so not promotional in nature, but informative, something of value. Very short, so can be read on a single mobile screen, so 15 to 30 seconds, and telling a continuing story. So think of it this way. If you're a bookstore, typically today, you would send out a mail saying that, oh, you've left this item in the shopping cart, or you showed some interest in that. Now, instead of that, imagine sending 5 mails on 5 successive days, all at the same time. Day 1 shows the table of contents. Day 2, maybe an excerpt from the book. Day 3, about the author. Day 4, about other books by the author. And day 5, other books in the same genre. So you have 5 opportunities to sell, each one providing interesting information rather than just the fact that I left something in the shopping cart. The post-purchase scenario also can be very powerful, where imagine someone's bought a product of yours. For the next 20, 30 days, can you tell them how to use the product better? Very few brands are doing this today, and these are all missed opportunities. By the way, our brochures are there on the table, so I'm just going through a little fast, but there are many of these slides have the details in the brochures that we've kept on many tables. The next idea, which I'm most excited about, longer term, is this idea what we call atomic rewards. How do you bring in gamification inside of emails? A lot of rewards today have been tied to transactions, but no one's looking at the upstream: attention, engagement, habit creation, all of that. Basically, it's time. If you don't pay your customers for attention, you're going to pay Google and Facebook 100 times more for their attention. So if we can build the upstream with the idea of micro incentives, not necessarily linked with transactions, I think we can do a great job in nudging behavior. So it's a loyalty program for attention, engagement, time. It can be linked to your loyalty program, or there are various ways we can think of how do you create pan-brand loyalty programs for this. The idea, what I call, is Loyalty 2.0. I'll be writing about this on my blog after my Email 2.0 series completes. And that's where we can actually link in Web3 ideas, so essentially tokenize attention and data. You can then drive a higher order of engagement beyond opens and clicks. And the rewards can be either immediate discounts or linked with the brand program, or there are multiple ways to think about it. But the key idea is, how do you bring in small incentives? So I'll show you many these ideas in action. So this is a video which I recorded yesterday. We couldn't get it done from here, but I can show it live if anyone wants just after the session. So this is an email which is basically covers a lot of these ideas there. The first thing, so all the ideas we spoke about, EMS, atomic rewards, etc., are going to get covered here. So look at the subject. There's the mu.2026. Mu is an indicator that this is a mail with rewards. 2026 tells me the number of points I have, so no one else can spoof it. So that basically makes the subject line that much more interesting. And then as we scroll down, this is an interactive email. So also the fact that when I opened the mail, I got 1 point for opening it, so that became 2027. Then you click on rules. The WordX came, exactly like Wordle. I'm not saying Wordle because of New York Times. But you could expand it right there, the rules. Now you can play the game completely in the inbox itself. So we start with 2 of my favorite words. I mean, everyone has their first 2 words. So in my case, it is satin, and rogue gets all the vowels in there. And just look at it. You do it in the mail, and it shows up right above inside the email. No need to click to a separate website at all. We got the second one. Anyone wants to guess the word? What else would it be at an email conference, right? So there's email. And now I'll get points. Okay, so I'll get 4 points because I guessed it in 3 chances. 1 chance would have given me 6. So 4 mu for opening it. And it was 2026. We got 1 for opening, 2027, and 4. And you see the real-time updates right there, 2031 mu in the footer of the email. There's a lot of action which we'll do in the footer as I'll show you. Next, and you can expand it, of course, to see the last 3 transactions done. So people know that they've not missed out on any of the points which they should have been rewarded for. Now that's an area where you can collect first-party data. And there is 5 mu here as rewards for answering a couple of questions. And watch the number, 2031. I'll get 5 points when I do the click, and it'll go to 2036 right there. And which country do I live in? India. Another 5 mu for answering that. And this could be a journey. It's almost like chat inside of email. That's 2041. You can rate the mail. So whether it's NPS ratings, etc., ask people to rate it. How many times has anyone done that before? So you get feedback. I got additional 3 mu for that. Unsubscribe can also be 1 click. So the word was unsubscribe. I say yes. And it says you've been unsubscribed, and it switches to subscribe right there. And now for the e-com stuff. So now when I click on And the plus, which expands, shows me the last few transactions. I could redeem. So this could be an add to cart or a transaction being done right there. So when I say redeem the mu, essentially it's like the burn and the burn part, the earning. And it'll show me a few options. In this case, we've got a few ebooks. So I can just say buy on one of them. That's 30 mu, which will be charged to my account. So the 2044 will change to 2014. So we've done all of this inside of the email without going to the website or the app. That is the power of interactivity. Now, this was a short mail, so you can think of any interactivity which can be built, sent out daily. You can do surveys, all sorts of fun things. Bring in the idea of small incentives, and bring in the idea that you send out these mails on a daily basis, become a habit in people's lives. The mental availability for a brand, I think, becomes very important, and email is perhaps the best channel to do that. And the final of the innovations in Email 2.0, progency, so product-led agency. So we've had, essentially the idea is how do you combine product, the actual platform, with professionals, process, and look at pay for performance. So it's a parallel program to expand the capabilities of the internal team. You can just throw things over the fence to a progency. It uses a full-fledged platform. So it's much more than just the creative side of it. It combines software, QA, and the full power of a MarTech platform to help you achieve the outcomes. And there are some interesting use cases which don't disrupt the existing program at all. Increasing the hooked score could be a good one to measure, to actually get done. Reactivation is another one. And many of you all would face the challenge of probably having maybe 20, 30% of your base as being dormant or inactive. Can a progency, using all of these ideas that we spoke about, bring out, increase the action with the inactives? Because your other alternative is going to be to essentially, again, pay Google and Facebook on the ad tech side. And all of these cases really help with driving greater attention, collecting more data, more engagement with your current customers. As someone said it, what is the purpose of a business? It's about getting your existing customers to buy more and get them to bring their friends. So retention, repetition, referrals, all in one. And email can now become the best channel beyond just promotional mails to essentially making this happen. We got some amazing early results which we've been working on with companies in India. Big Basket, one of the largest grocery firms, 50 million shoppers, 3x increase in CTR with atomic rewards. Your Story, like a TechCrunch of India, they saw a 5x increase in conference registrations. So we did a clear A/B test. People had to click versus filling out the basic info inside the mail itself using AMP, 5x increase. Then we had Myntra, Walmart-owned, India's largest fashion brand, 140% increase in CTOR, 50% uplift in NPS collection with interactive mails. One of India's largest banks, huge increase in active users using the idea of EMS. So how do you get started? Few suggestions. First month, maybe take 10% of your active email base, of your email list. Try out these ideas. Take 5, 10%. Try out these Email 2.0 ideas. And I'm pretty sure they will work. Second month, you can expand it. You can also bring in the progency idea for reactivation. That's something which typically is not happening. That's something which can be driven. And third month, if it works well, expand it to all your actives. There should be no email, which is really not an Email 2.0 mail, which should be going out. And the same ideas can be expanded to the other push channels. Because push is the only way, email, SMS, to bring people, push notifications to bring people back to your properties, the website and the app. So Email 2.0 is about making email cool again. The excitement that many of us had in the early years, how do you bring that back? How do you drive innovation out here? With the 5 ideas that we spoke about, AMP, EMS, atomic rewards, progency, and the metric for measurement, hooked score. It's about gathering attention, data, hotline, and building loyalty. And the way I like to put it, because I think the single largest challenge going forward is going to be around how do you drive profitability in businesses? So the marketing department or the CMO can now become the chief profitability officer. And that's going to be the biggest impact on the company, on the brand going forward. And I do a lot of my writings out here. So rajeshjain.com/marketing as essays, which I've written on various ideas over the last couple of years. And here's how you can get in touch with us. You can just get in touch with either of the NICs to schedule a workshop or to scan this QR code. Thank you very much.